house hunting and you came across this community that you really love, but it comes with an HOA and monthly fees. Now, we're going to go into this deep dive of what an HOA is.
Yep. So HOA is a homeowners association. It's usually a group of elected residents. Like when you have a community, you elect residents from that community that make up a board. And then you have like a president, treasurer, and other people on the board. And those are the folks that take on the responsibility of enforcing rules and restrictions and things in that community. Now, HOAs are usually formed after the fact. So when a developer comes in and constructs and makes buildings or homes or whatever, when they leave, they want that community to be safe. They want to protect the property values and stuff. And this is when they say, okay, we're going to create an HOA where people essentially pay.
The residents of this community will be on the board, will be the members. Everybody in the community that you buy into, it will be a member of this HOA.
Right.
And everybody has a say. Eventually, we'll talk about the rules and regulations, which are called the CC&Rs, which stands for?
Covenants, conditions, and restrictions.
Right.
So we'll go through that as well, too. But the first thing is first, let's talk about what are the pros of HOAs.
Right? An HOA, they're pros and cons, just like everything else, right? But being the pros in a community means that everything's going to be standard. You will pretty much every home will have its own exterior paint.
Yeah, it'll look the same.
It'll look the same. It'll look like cookie cutter.
Yeah.
There are also regulations on stuff of what you can plant out there.
Yeah.
Okay, because they'll provide gardeners.
Yeah.
Okay. There's going to be amenities, but let's go into the gardening first. What HOAs will offer to the residents, to the homeowner?
Yeah. So the maintenance is covered, right? I mean, that's what it is. Through the HOA, usually they cover the exterior maintenance of the property, maybe the community as a whole. But you talked about restrictions too a second ago. So restrictions, yes, what you can grow in front of your house, what kind of color scheme is it for your home,
right?
What kind of door you have, right? Sometimes we even have HOAs that are very tight that restrict you from even going out and hiring a professional to come in and work on things. We sold a property where the folks on the outside didn't know what the hell to do, right?
Not only that, they refused the HOA board, the people who run it, said that we need to use their list of vendors.
They're vetted. Yeah, they're vetted associates, basically, right? So it makes it difficult if you're buying into that community. Sometimes you're like, I don't want to use that person. But again, they're trying to create that community and keep it the same way. So I don't know. I guess that's a pro, right? So it does try to protect property values and make the neighborhood look clean and and all that too. I just don't know if they help.
They also provide gardening. Okay, so they might even have a garbage area that you can throw stuff there, for recycling. So it doesn't really mess up your own unit.
Yeah.
Okay, but you cannot add stuff, right? So in other words, there's a lot of stuff that you can actually request, but usually the board, if it's a tight, as you said, a tight community and they run like a tight ship, usually you'll get rejected, right?
Yeah.
But other than let's talk about the pros still. So other than the gardening, the exterior, that's taken care of, garbage.
Sometimes garbage and water.
Water, water, but no electricity, right? Yeah. Because power is everybody has their own account.
Sometimes cable is covered as well.
Yeah, sometimes cable is covered. Now, electricity, the lighting on the outside, that is part of the HOA. So in other words, what they call common areas, anything that's outside of your exterior wall.
Yeah.
Okay, your roof could be covered.
Yeah. In a condo, yes, absolutely.
Right.
And sometimes, but in a townhouse situation, it might not be.
Right, or a PUD.
PUD.
Yeah, you're responsible, but there's still HOA dues.
Right, because townhouse is considered like essentially your own separate home.
And dues are usually every month.
Yeah, and the frequency dues is usually month, and they tend to go with inflation, and they do increase. So, 5 years ago, your HOA might be, $250. Today, it could be, a lot worse.
Also, insurance maybe because they have a blanket insurance for the whole community.
Yeah.
So your insurance might not need to be bought because the HOA will take care of it, and that's a good point to stress because if you were to own your own home, your homeowner's insurance has skyrocketed.
Yeah, but you still need insurance.
You still need
You still need
insurance.
insurance, but the coverage actually goes down because now
Right.
you're not buying for the
It's
entire
shared.
building.
Your cost is shared.
The cost is shared, right?
Right.
But it's you still need it for your own personal items and things, right?
That's the inside.
That's the inside
Yeah.
of the inside of the unit.
Right.
What other pros do we have?
Well, we'll touch upon everything.
I mean, safety is another thing too. Sometimes you have gated communities, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You have gated communities. We have gated communities here a lot, and you have HOAs there, and usually there's a guard or something. So the safety is another big thing, right? If you're looking for that.
We were representing a buyer out of Walnut Creek, and every time we wanted to show that community, we have to go through the guard and show our ID, our business
Yeah.
card, and contact the agent because the agent needs to tell the guard. So it's a very safe community.
Right. All right. Let's talk about the cons. I can come up with a lot.
Yeah. First of all, what is an HOA? You need to pay, right? So it's either mostly monthly dues. I've heard of, but not very common, yearly dues. That is one thing that you need to consider.
The yearly dues only exist in areas where the monthly fees are very small.
Very small.
As long
right.
as it was like $50 a month or something, they collect it once a year,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But anything else,
and I've never heard of $50.
there actually are. I've seen one in Danville. I think it was like 40 or 50 bucks a month.
That's cheap.
And they collect it once a year. It was an
Okay.
annual due for like 500 bucks or something, or 600. But yeah, I mean, dues is one thing, right? Okay, my take on whole HOA, and I have a lot of cons, by the way. I don't fucking like it. Think about it this way. It's like another person on top of you that's telling you what you should or should not do to your
Can
home.
or cannot too.
Right. And
Yeah.
so let's just take the context out of place. HOA is really meant for condos and townhomes, I think. Maybe just condos because you're living in a vertical building, right? You're in a vertical building,
Right.
with different floors and so
Right,
forth,
right.
and there's a set of rules that everybody has to abide by. It's the same
Right.
pathway or hallway you share to enter your unit, whatever.
Right.
But why the fuck do we have HOAs for single-family homes? Okay, a developer goes in,
Right.
makes these cookie-cutter homes,
Right.
builds them up, looks
Right.
nice, the neighborhood looks nice, manicured and so forth, safety and all that. Maybe there's a gate, whatever. But I don't need someone I don't need my neighbor who's elected by 10 other people when I didn't vote for him telling me what and how I can paint the fucking color of
Okay,
my house.
check this out. We sold a place, right, in the East Bay, in Newark,
Oh, yeah.
and it was a single family, guys. Okay, there were like hundreds of homes in this community, and everybody had an HOA. Now the crazy thing is, there was really whenever we worked out there doing open houses and tours and stuff and such, I've never seen a gardener.
Yeah.
We clean up in front of ourselves. We have a side yard. I don't know what it even pays. And you know what? The HOA wasn't even cheap.
Yeah, in that situation. So going back, my take on it is, I dislike them for single family homes. I don't think they should exist. I think what it was is when the builder got done and they said, okay, great, now we want to maintain this community a certain way.
Right.
We want to protect our reputation or protect our brand or whatever. We're going to create a fucking HOA around this thing, right? Or we're going to make it affluent, make it seem like this is like the greatest neighborhood or community that is, and we're gonna sell it that way, right? I feel like it's a way to just make money.
But okay, so now there's a catch to this, what you just said. If you have enough residents, homeowners in that community that don't want an HOA, they can vote it out.
Yeah, but you gotta get a majority vote usually.
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
and people are just lazy.
and
People don't
people,
maintain.
not everybody has time for it, right?
Right. It's
That's
living in the Bay Area, man. Time is the issue.
We live in such a hectic life here in the Bay Area that people are busy. People don't have time to pay attention. Nobody reads the HOA fucking rules. When was the last time one of our clients actually read a page?
We had to read them. So whenever we get a listing or we're looking into helping the client buy it into an HOA community, we actually do all the reading on the CCNRs, right? And the rules. And we had to explain, and down after we've sold years later, our client will come back to us and say, "Hey, can I do this for in my community?" And I go, "I have to look it up again. Like it's been 5 years."
Yeah.
I go, "No, you cannot."
Yeah. So just so you know, the way I say con is anything you do on your property, whether you're painting, whether you're cutting a tree in the back that was planted by the developer or whatever, you have to get permission.
Yes.
You cannot just go, even outside of your property, you can't, if they planted a tree for, aesthetics or whatever,
Yes.
you can't just unilaterally tell your gardener to go cut that tree down. You will get fined for it.
Yep.
Because they want to keep a community a certain way. And then you get people that are just like,
so you're
become little dictators who
exactly. You're no more the boss of your house, okay?
Yeah.
Because there's somebody else that can tell you, dictate what you can do and cannot do. Now, whatever you do, whatever you plan, before you go ahead and do it, you got to run it by the board.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, most boards only meet once a month.
Once a quarter.
Once a quarter. Most of them meet once a quarter. So there's going to be a delay. So you got to prepare yourself. That's a con, definitely a con. If you really want to do anything, you have to prepare yourself as it's not going to happen right away.
Right. Here's another con that I'll tell you. Mismanagement of funds.
Ooh,
okay.
That's fraud.
When you get, it's fraud, but when you get a board who doesn't run the day-to-day operations properly, they just pay out money when they can, ditch it, whatever, maybe they're committing fraud. When they do that, then they have to tap into the reserves, right, to pay the day-and-day things. And then when it comes time for you to sell the property, and then you ask the HOA to provide the HOA docs and stuff, see what's happening with the meetings and what's happening with the reserves and the study and so forth. And they come out saying, we have no money left in the reserve. You can't sell your property. Nobody wants to buy a home or a condo or a townhouse when there is zero money in the reserve left, right? And then that leads to lawsuits and stuff, and you're stuck basically. You can't sell your property. 9 out of 10, it doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen. I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. The condo that we have in Hercules, that HOA is not managed properly. They have no idea. Because in the HOA docs, it says something about 75% occupancy, owner occupancy or something like that. That thing is, like, there's renters everywhere.
Yep.
They have no control over that thing. It just got out of control at some point and nobody cared about it. And they're trying now, but they're too late. They're trying to play catch up.
Yeah, they have no money. And that's really, so let's just say, when we have an agent bringing their client, the very first thing a good agent would ask is, can I see the disclosures, right?
Yeah.
So it's just the disclosures are not just on the property, it's on if it's in a HOA community, it has the disclosures on the HOA itself. The financials, the rules and regulations, okay?
And the reserves.
The reserves, okay? And if there is also communication in case there is an assessment. And what is an assessment?
Yeah, like a special assessment, you mean, right? So let's say if one side of the west side of the condominium building is leaning or something structurally or something else, or maybe the roof is damaged on one side. Or
dry rot,
termite.
Yeah.
And they have to replace not just your unit, but like 4 other units side or whatever. It's a shared assessment end of the day. You have to pay the portion, and that's on top of the HOA dues, right? So it could be like $10,000, and then all 5 residents have to pay $2,000 or something, or
it's not even your unit, but because you belong into this community, right? So you need to be prepared. That's why you need to find out before you actually step into this. I want to make an offer in this dream community that I love. Yeah. Well, you know what? Read up on all the rules and regulations. Read up on the special assessments if there is going to be coming up.
Yeah.
Parm mentioned 5 years. There's no increased dues. You know what? That's actually a sign that they're not the HOA board is not really watching their financials really well, because I've looked at financials in different HOAs. Usually 2-3 years they have increases because everything goes up, man. Water bill, if your water's paid for,
that's cost of living, right? That's just inflation. Things go up. That's fine, right? Things will go up and they have to cover for it, which is fine. But it's just that sometimes when you don't manage it properly, then my problem is that, like, when you don't manage it properly, like let's say the landscaping company you hired, and all of a sudden a year later they want to increase their fees by, I don't know, 10-15%. Then you got to go out and find another fucking landscaping company. That's what I mean by mismanagement. You can't just go with the same person and tell them like, oh, you're going to increase the price, cool, here's the money, right? You can't do that, because when you start doing that, you are going to start to lose funds. Your collection is going to go down, because remember, at the end of the day, you'll have residents that don't pay into HOAs. They'll be like, oh, fuck, I don't have the money this month, and they're late, and then you have to enforce new rules on them.
Okay, so we've experienced communities that do not enforce. This is even if they say, okay, you missed 1 month payment. Okay, so you missed the second month payment. We put 3 months payment. Okay, you keep on sending them letters. If the homeowner is not the homeowner, but he's actually the landlord and it's a rental, if he's out of town or he's somewhere else, he's not getting those letters, you're 3 months behind, okay? But how are you going to enforce it? The best you can do is put a lien on the property only when he sells it.
Yeah, that does happen. And the other thing is, in California now, as of, what is this, August? Yeah, in July 1st, new law went into effect. It's called AB130.
Yeah.
Which basically states that HOAs cannot fine you more than $100 per incident. It used to be hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, it was
per day.
limitless. It was limitless.
It was like your sky's the limit, right?
Yeah, you made up the number.
You made up a fucking number, and
yeah,
you just kind of
made up the number.
And then you put interest on them, and you start accruing, which was even crazier. So, but it's $100 per incident, though, right? So, like, I don't know, you leave your trash cans out or something when you're not supposed to, they can fine you $100 once per the incident. That's it. But anything prior to July 1st, if you had any racked up dues or whatever from HOA, any violations, you still have to pay for those. So I don't know. Does it help? Yeah, probably going forth, yeah, because there are HOAs that are just shit out there. I've seen worse ones in California.
Getting back to what you were saying, let me quickly interrupt. Most homeowners are not troublemakers. Yeah. Most of these fines come from pets, right? So your dog pooped, right? Before you cleaned up, some snitch, right, from your community, usually there's always one, is going to call up the board and says, his dog pooped there. So what happens? You get fined. So obviously HOAs are not for everybody, okay? So, I mean, we still can talk about, like, if you have an RV, HOAs are not going to allow you to put that. Especially, it's a totally different style of living. So what are HOAs really good for? Okay, from what I see, people that are too busy in their lives, right? They don't want to mess with the yard.
Yep.
They want to
lock up and go.
Yeah, they go on vacation, whatever, yeah. Right? That leave the house early in the morning and come back late at night, right? Yep. And it's a safe community.
Young people. It's for young people.
Safe community, right? Also, you don't care about yards. Most of the HOAs communities have a really tiny yard, yep. So that throws out your gardening, right? Yep. So there are things that you are not going to fit if you are into boating, right? Yeah. You won't be able to store your boat, your RV, as I said.
Because they'll have restrictions on that, right?
They're not even going to allow, because it's an eyesore, man.
Yeah. And the other thing is good for is going to be elderly folks too that are retiring, downsizing, right?
Definitely.
Because as you get older, you don't want to take care of the yards and only the maintenance and stuff.
So the spectrum is really young, upperly mobile, that are really into work, or senior folks who, they may just, again, it's a safe environment for them, right?
Yep.
So they can go for strolls in the community, which depends on how big the place is.
Yeah.
It's safe. Yeah. They can go for strolls. Usually, HOAs, if they're well maintained, they might even have a yard or a gardening area or even a dog, what's it called, dog side yard or whatever for pets. So if you want, I think HOAs may be good for slightly older folks.
Yeah, even like pools and tennis courts and stuff. I mean,
we're here right now.
We're one, and we have this thing here in Rinda that's a townhouse, and it has a pool and tennis courts and things, right? So there's
clubhouse. They have a clubhouse for you want to hang out and play cards. Yep. If you're into tennis, they got 3 professional pro
Tennis
tennis
courts.
courts, man.
Absolutely.
And again, if you're into swimming, you don't even need a pool in your house. You could just walk down the hill.
Yeah. So at end of the day, I think the HOA, I think, it depends on your lifestyle. What do you want out of it, right? What are you trying to do? If you're young, working professional, and you're in and out of your place, and you want to own something, might be a condo or a townhouse might be the right thing
Low
for you,
maintenance.
right? If you're older folks want to retire, be closer to another family or something, maybe that's you don't want to take care of the yard and stuff. It might be a right choice as well too. So again, it's a lifestyle choice.
It's a lifestyle choice.
It's not for everyone.
Nope, it's not. And it we always talk about whenever we do these vids, we talk about whatever you choose has to fit you specifically.
Yep.
Whatever you want to buy into or sell, it has to fit you specifically.
Yep.
I think that's a bit.
Yeah, that's all we got.
That's all. And thank you for watching this. See ya.